Hello, and we're in week 31. So we're just going to do a quick update on how the poinsettias are looking this week. So we'll start again. There's triple pots up here. These are looking really good and bushy now, breaking nicely. We've given a light application of a cyclocell growth regulator middle of last week. So these are really starting to even up now. So we've got some really nice breaking, although very even. These have only been pinched for about 5 or 6 bracts because there's a few in the pot. So we've pinched these a bit harder back and everything else, and they've really responded well to it. The heater's now been fitted in good time. I was getting worried with all these cool summer temperatures we've been having, so that's ready to go. We've just got the thermostat to wire up now, and that's all good. All the tanks plumbed in and everything. So now we're moving on to Hera Red. Again, we've given this a light cyclocell growth regulator this week. It is responding well. Nice even breaking. And really forming a nice bushy plant now. This one is Aries Red. Next one, and again, there's a few big old leaves left on the top, which are sort of expanding more now that the plant's aging. But we'll probably nip 1 or 2 of those off, just so it's not shading that under canopy too much to let the foliage come through. Again, these have had a little light growth regulator applied to them now, just on the tips to even them up. But other than that, there's really some good branching on the go there now. So they're, again, a little bit behind Hera Reds, but definitely getting there. We're also now feeding with Peter's CalMag grower soluble feed, which has been taken through the dosatron at the end there. So that's it. We're starting to liquid feed once a week now on about 10 litres of stock solution, kilo of feed, and the dosatron set to 1 in 100 or 1%, depends on what side you're using on the dosatron. And this is Leona White. Again, when this was first pinched, it didn't have, as I've said before, this didn't have any side breaking on whatsoever. So for this to have thrown up so much is doing really well. Again, these have had a light dusting of cyclocell over the top branches, just to let these lower branches catch up a little bit and get to the top. So we'll end up with sort of like, these have been pinched for 7, so we'll end up with sort of like 6, 7, 8 decent sized bracts on the top of these, hopefully. Again, they're looking really good, nice healthy plants, nothing wrong with those at all. So this one, in comparison, is Leona Red. A little bit disappointing at the moment. No growth regulator applied yet because it's just simply not big enough. They're just very behind on branching. They were smaller plugs to begin with, but they just haven't really caught up at all. They are getting there. Hopefully in the next week or 2. Now we're on to liquid feeding alongside the Osmocote, which is in the pot. They should start to pick up. I have left 2 at the back completely unpinched as a trial, just to see again if we could get any better breaking with just growth regulator alone. At the moment, I did applicate those 2, none of the others, but I did applicate those 2 with some cyclocell just to see. But at the moment, there's not much breaking coming from, but it was only last week. So we're going on to Saturnus Marble. Again, breaking very nicely. A little bit behind the ones in the pots at the top, but looking very good. Got some nice even breaks now. Again, these haven't been growth regulated because they're just slightly too small. Again, they're probably next week we'll just put a light dusting on the top of those, as with the same with the Saturnus White, which is again slightly behind the ones at the top. So they're just going to have a light dusting with growth regulator probably next week. So now we're looking at Astro Red. Astro Red was the very first one to be pinched, as said before. It's looking very bushy now. Again, it's had a cyclocell treatment middle of last week. Looking really good. Nice bushy foliage now. Plenty of breaks, which are all pretty even now. You know, the lower ones, we've dusted the top with cyclocell to get to the top there. So these ones on the top will hold back a bit, and the ones at the side will start to come up. And we're going to keep these, they're starting to fill in now, but again, we're going to keep these pot tight for a little bit longer before we go to any spacing, just to get some nice V-shaped branching on there, which of course is going to give us a strong structure and less breaking at time for moving, for transport and stuff like that. These are Princettia midi hot pinks. This is a large one. It's the only one suitable for a 2 litre pot out of the whole range. These are looking the way now, which again, there'll be no growth regulator applied to these because these are fairly even as they are already. But we will want to probably put some spacing in by the end of the week, because if you look across the top sections now, you know, everything is starting to get quite full. So and you know, we're just starting to you know, touch the plants next, and the leaves are starting to fill in and touch each other now. So we want to sort of give this side branching, I don't know if you can see it there, it's all just starting in there nicely now. We want to give that a little bit more light probably, so we'll be starting to fill out. Again, the root growth, as I've said before, is really good on the princettias, if not better than the poinsettias. We're moving across to this Princettia dark pink. This again, these are all the smaller ones, normal princettias. So we've got dark pink, pearl, Indian red emperor, and then a big batch of hot pink there. These are all the ones which are only suitable for really up to a 13 centimetre, but we've gone into a 15 centimetre because we were trying to keep things as uniform as possible. And in all honesty, they've worked quite well in a 15, because I was thinking, oh, they'll never make size if it's only recommended for a maximum of 13. But you know, we've potted much earlier than probably any other grower would normally pot with these. We potted in week 24. So that, you know, they're pretty much, they filled the pot already. So as far as I'm concerned, that you know, it's a success already in terms of, you know, the pot size being a bit bigger. But there'd be no growth regulator applied to these. They've only had a very light pinch, as you can see there. So we've got some really nice breaking appearing now. We've got some really strong shoots at the bottom, and yeah, looking really good. So that is dark pink. This one is pearl, which, as I said before, is sort of like an off-white, like a dirty white sort of colour. Again, very good breaking, filled the top of the pots nicely. And we've still got a long way to grow with these yet before you know, any sort of initiation is going to take place. We're not looking until, you know, the end of September for any sort of initiating to be taking place on these. So, you know, we've got it's August, 1st of August on, I think it's Saturday, this coming Saturday. So, you know, we've got a good 8 to 10 weeks before of growing time left on these, which is great. You know, the worst stage is over, the rooting's in, the pinching's done, they're away, we're breaking now, so everything should be pretty quick from here on in. Again, Indian red emperor, we've got, you know, we're filling the top of the pots now, really good size. And I know these aren't going to be massive, but in terms of pot coverage, you know, they've done it already, so that's looking really good. And again, there's some really good breaking, which you can almost see better on that one there. Again, all the princesses have only had a light pinch, and they'll have no growth regulator applied whatsoever, because they're just a small compact plant anyway. We have left one or two here which are unpinched, just to see what happens on this. This is the normal hot pink variety. So as I say, we had midi hot pink over there, and this is the normal hot pink here. Slightly behind, they were slightly smaller plugs, so they are slightly behind. Some which are good pot coverings now, and some which are a bit smaller, but other than that, very good. loads of branching happening in there now. I don't know if you can see, but yeah, looking really, really good. Now we're moving on to robin. This has been half and half growth regulator applied, so it's been a bit tricky. It's been a really patchy crop. Everything's been pinched, pots at the same time, pinched at the same time. But you know, we've got some which look like this, and then we've got some which look like they've been pinched last week, like that, which just, we've got not much growth here. So we've sort of like in a row there, we've got one like that, one like that, and one like that. So we've got some completely, you know, different breaking habits across the crop there. There's, out of all the poinsettias, we've done the most of this one, which is, as I say, we're a bit hit and miss. And then this end, there's a big cluster at this end, which are all really big and really bushy. And then again, this corner, a bit hit and miss in the front there. I know sometimes you get problems with light going onto the pots and causing root damage, but you know, we're not south facing here. The south facing end is the end where the heater is, and behind that there's a fence up to around there, just outside those doors, so we're not getting a light hitting that end of the tunnel really. And even where we have, I've put some, I don't know if you can see, but I've put some timber on the end there to cover the edges of the pots, so we're not ending up with root burn really. So I don't know why this is so patchy, but when they came as plugs, they were a bit uneven in size. Now moving over to the glitter, Syngenta's glitter, we're not seeing, I mean, with most poinsettias you sort of see rooting to the outside of the pot in 6 to 14 days normally, and we've worked out yesterday that we're into the 3rd week now with these, so we should be rooted to the edge of the pot, and we're not at all. Well, some are and some aren't. It's a very mixed bag. I can only put down, the cuttings were small when they came, which is no problem. I did ask for them last minute just to see what I could do as a trial. But I can only put it down to the fact that the cuttings were small and were only lightly rooted into the peat pots that they came, that they were sort of behind with rooting. But then again, these were mixed. Everything else was mixed in a Jarvo pot filler, whereas these were mixed in the new compost mixer, and it has broken down the openness of the compost a bit. They're still not too bad, but they are, you know, they're holding the moisture a lot more, and the perlite's virtually been ground up in that compost mixer, so we're not seeing as much of it. Whereas we potted these two in the old compost, as you can see the perlite's plenty in there, and they seem to be growing slightly bigger than the others. I mean, there's some which are doing quite well. The one thing I've noticed is it seems to be this Superba new glitter does seem to be a fairly even, like freely breaking variety. As you can see there, the plugs are still very small, not rooted into the pot, and it's already breaking of its own accord. So in that terms of things, they are looking quite good. I was hoping to be pinching this week, but I very much doubt it. It's probably going to be next week now.